Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the daily live extra. It's live. It's like there you go.
See the issue there? Can you see the issue?
I can see the issue. The right hand side of the screen as we're looking. There's nothing there. But I'm sure Ned'll sort it. Yeah, the daily live. It's another sunny one. You've just ridden 4 million miles to get here. And
12k I've just
12k. Well in, lad. You've done well. That is good.
I'm trying to getting the beef off for America.
Active
getting the
minutes
beef off
you have.
So I can put the beef on.
That's what it's about.
You know what I mean? You can enjoy.
I'm going on the shred on Monday. Maybe.
And I said when I came back from Aldi, I said 3 sessions a week with me, PT, Harry, and then I've got a couple of days. I thought, you know what, lovely day. The price of fuel is going through the roof. I might as well take my bike and get a bit more off. And I know as boss, I tried a t-shirt on that for a while looked a bit spongy on me, and it was like, this doesn't look too bad. So therefore, let's go. Let's get more up, because that's the thing isn't it weird, right? When you're trying to lose weight, if you're not seeing an impact, you stop. How weird do our minds work?
Well, because it's difficult at the start. Yeah. It's difficult to start, isn't it? Because you just get into the habit. Like right now, I'm in the habit of eating about 3 chocolate bars in the night. I don't eat loads in the day, and then I'm eating that in the night. And it's not really, it's not massively affecting me, but it's not good. So I need to get that sorted. But when you get that mindset, then you start looking and going, instead of 3, I'll have 1. And then you switch.
But it's weird, isn't it?
Don't see it.
The minute you see a difference, the harder you start working. How weird's that? Our minds are knobheads, aren't they? They are like proper.
Have you ever done intermittent fasting? Because the only reason I'm saying that to you, right, is because you...
When I come in here, I intermittently fast.
That's what I'm saying. You have like loads of hours where you don't eat. But if you... And I've never really done it properly. I'm only saying because I've seen loads of stuff. Is that you could easily, the way you are, eat and stop and then not eat for 12 hours. Yeah. And then it's your body chemistry starts to change. My issues are... This is welcome to Diet Weekly.
That's just fine. My issues are... my portion sizes are ridiculous.
Right.
Like, because
you are a big lad.
You've seen me eat. I can.
You eat incredibly quick though, as
well.
But
also, I don't take any enjoyment in eating. And if it's there to eat, I have to eat it. So if there's anything left over, I will force myself to eat it. I think it's like,
don't want to waste stuff.
When you're a kid and everyone's got their hand in the biscuits in, that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like you want more.
Do you not enjoy it while you're eating it?
I don't really, very very little eat, because I eat too fast.
I was gonna say you do fast.
And the other side of it is like, I am big. I put on weight dead easy, and I get sometimes I just get bored and I just eat because I just go, I get that thing in my mind, and then sometimes you just like put a film on and forget. But also I have triggers. So normally on a Friday and a Saturday I've got me little, haven't I? Yeah. And like say around 12 o'clock I go and get like a little bowl of snacks, like savouries. Yeah. And now, so what I've done is I've cut the ale out. I'm not going to drink now. Either till the patron night or so we go to America.
Be the patron night, wouldn't it? You'd be able to have one. Like, what I mean is one night.
So if I'm not drinking the lager, the beer or the IPAs, which I like, then I'm not eating the snack.
You're not having the snack.
So I'm not having the snack. So I'm still not eating. Because when I did my marathon many years ago, when I lost loads of weight, for the entire summer I didn't drink, and the difference is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think that's why.
But
in general, I'm alright because I don't.
And it's not weight, drink. By the way. It's just the general way you feel. So if you get up on a Sunday and even if you've just had a couple of beers,
feel a bit sluggish.
You feel a bit sluggish, don't you? Whereas if you haven't, you get up and you're like, your body feels ready to go. And on the Sundays, I used to do like 10-mile runs on a Sunday. So if you'd had a couple of beers the night before, so you don't want that sluggish feeling. Yeah. It's all mad.
It's mindset.
It is a lot of it is mindset, and that's why you get
into good habits.
Yeah, of course.
It's all good.
There you go.
It's all good.
Dieting with,
Dieting, yeah.
Best person to say dieting with.
No, but you're doing stuff though, aren't you? You're doing stuff. Yeah, so good afternoon everyone, if you tuned in. Talking about footy, we're on full diet conversation. It is, but it's getting fit.
It's somewhat pre-season,
It's conditioning. It's conditioning.
You just have to get Ned on it now.
It's conditioning. What can you do?
If anyone's got any tips, let us know.
Let's just have a look here. Glenn says Matty Lamb pictured with his kebab on floor in a drunken night out. See, the thing is, Ned doesn't finish his food either. He's all big noise. Him and Cam are very similar like that. There's loads of big noise with them about food. We're getting this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And when the food comes, very rarely did he finish it. Like even when we went out in Chester to the the smokehouse, the Hickory place.
Yeah.
Ned was giving it big time over the
he was.
steak and all. I'm going to do this to it, I'm going to do that to it. Didn't even finish it. That's what he was saying.
I'm going to wine and dine you, girl.
He was looking at it and he didn't even finish it. So, there you go.
I reckon Paige could put away more than Ned could. And then the next day just go to the gym and smash it out.
Yeah, possibly.
I think so.
Possibly. Someone's just...
I could see... I bet you go to an all-you-can-eat every Sunday, don't you, Paige?
I went for all-you-can-eat breakfast this morning with me nan.
Classic Paige.
Classic Paige.
And yeah, look at her.
Did your nan pay for it?
No, I took me nan.
See?
That is classic.
See that? Paige just took a nan out and Ned gave his dad socks from Morrison's.
And links.
From Morrison's.
What? Just because he was in there looking for his mates?
Well, not because it was a prick thing. What am I saying here? Christopher may just refresh because no one else is saying the sound's a little bit out of sync, so just refresh it, mate. And try that. Frederick Moffat says, "Say I'm the same, Ped. If there's food there, I'll just eat it."
I am bad. It is. It's. I think it's something you just get from your childhood. If you live if you live in a house where there's no food, the ration book. No, I think it is that thing of when you're a kid.
There's a lot of you do get into them habits, don't you? It is one of them, isn't it? But,
oh, you're just a fat bitch.
James Wallen says better off drinking on a patron night. Ale in America is expensive.
Yeah, but
I think it's probably
ale everywhere's expensive.
I was going to say it's like
£6 a pint.
What I've noticed with when I've been to in Florida, obviously I haven't been to other places, but in Florida it's pretty similar to what it is here, really. When you go out, might be a touch more, but not much. That might have changed now, James. You know what I mean. You might know way better than me now. I haven't been for a few years to Florida, 3 years. But yeah, it doesn't really affect me because I don't drink a lot, James. That's the thing. I have a couple of. I don't do I? The most I've ever drank, it was in Germany with you, and that's in the last.
That makes me sound like I was going. With
you weren't.
Steins.
It was because we were out all day and into the night, and it was over a period of time. In Lanzarote, I literally drank probably my normal year's intake of ale in the week, and that was still only having the most I had on one day. I think was 3 glasses like that, which would have been if it was a pint or a pint and a half maybe. Do you know what I mean? And that was over days. I just don't drink a lot, but I will be having a couple of sherbets in America. Absolutely. No, you weren't giving it the big one in Germany. No. Just we were out for hours. So and that beer is gorgeous, by the way. It's the best beer.
There's no gas.
Yeah, it's the best beer. It's the one. In fact, when I do go to Florida and we go to Epcot, I go and get a beer in Germany because it's the dark ale.
Yeah, the dark ale. Beautiful.
It's just gorgeous.
Dusseldorf.
Meister says, "Is it too early to say? But if you had to choose 3 teams to be relegated, who would you pick?"
No,
it is early. If we had to choose 3 to go down. Newcastle because of the money. No, we had to pick 3 to go down. If I was saying these 3 will struggle, I would say Fulham will struggle. Just for the way they play, but you never know, they might be all right. But just right now, when you're looking at it, I'd say Fulham will struggle. I'd say Bournemouth will struggle. Forest. I think the 3. It's the league. Even though I often say it's not great, the quality and stuff, because I truly believe that the top 2 are fabulous, and I think that Chelsea have got the ability and Spurs are decent and Arsenal and stuff, but once you drop away from them, only the quality's right there. But what we're seeing more and more of in general, and I know Brentford have just shut this one down because they've stayed up, but promoted teams struggle, don't they, because they just come up.
Do you think Brentford would have gone down though if they hadn't got Ericsson?
There's a chance, yeah, because they were in real trouble, weren't they? And he come in and he was the talisman. They got got other players back. Don't get me wrong. They got a lot of players back from injury. They got Raya back, the keeper and stuff, who they used because he's good with his feet and stuff. But they went to Norwich and that was a crunch game. Norwich had just beaten Everton a couple of weeks before, and it was a tight game. And Ericsson was brilliant in it, and they got a penalty, it gave them the lead, and then Tony, I think they might have even had 2 penalties in it. They won 3-0, didn't they? And from that, they kind of kicked on. But Ericsson was unbelievable. Yeah. I watched them play Chelsea at the Bridge. The Bridge? What? At Stamford Bridge. And Chelsea properly destroyed them. Yeah. Didn't score goals.
Yeah, and then he went 4-1.
He scored. Rudiger scored a world. He went 1-0 up. And then Brentford just attacked them, and they ended up picking them off, and they won 4-1. And it was massively, probably... against the run of play, but Eriksen just had that quality.
Southampton will be an interesting one.
They've made a couple of big signings.
They've done a couple of big signings, but last season they were in free fall. And if Brozier doesn't stay, where did he exactly get the goals from?
Because Adam Armstrong, they only get one in the end.
Yeah, and
against us, day one.
The other Armstrong got a couple.
Che Adams got
and obviously the
7
set pieces from Ward-Prowse. So
there's a couple of teams.
Does that surprise you that he doesn't get linked with more
Villa
teams?
is sniffing at them again, aren't they? Would you have him for us?
I don't think he's what we need in terms of and this is where the Harry Winks stuff comes in.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people
talk about Harry Winks in a minute. By the way.
I don't know. Listen, the set pieces are fantastic. The way he takes a free kick is phenomenal. I don't know what else he truly gives you in a midfield like ours. He might be the kind of player who fits into someone else's squad nicely or someone else's midfield because of the makeup. I don't know if physically he would be what we need, but I think he's a tidy little player. I just don't think it's easy. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not like turning my nose up, because I've seen people go, fancy turning your nose up Harry Winks. There's nothing to do with that. It's what we need right now. It's like, it's a square peg in a round hole kind of situation for Everton at the moment. I think we need a big physical midfielder. Maybe if you were getting 2 or 3, then maybe. But, it'd be interesting. To be honest, it's interesting that he doesn't, Ward-Prowse, doesn't get linked with more teams, just in the general.
I think with Ward-Prowse, what I think he's got, I do think he's got this. He's got good energy about him, and he presses really well, and he is really good at free kicks. But there's games I watch him, and he's just not in the game. That's all, and they're hoping that they get a free kick around the box. Then he comes to life, of course he does. I remember, I don't know whether it was last season or the season before, with Southampton, they went to Villa and beat Villa. It might have been the year before. They beat Villa 4-1 or something, and he scored 2 unbelievable free kicks. And he's got that dead ball ability. He's fantastic, and it'd be great to have him. But
I tell you what I do find weird, not weird necessarily, but I've seen him not directly compared with Beckham, but there's like a little thing about Beckham. But what I don't see from Ward-Prowse is that ability that he has on a set piece to translate that into a real match situation.
Yeah,
See, that was the thing with Beckham. Beckham could put crosses in like he was taking a free kick, or could shoot from outside the box like he was taking a free kick. He had that balance about him, and his technique was unbelievable. I don't see that about Ward-Prowse. I see the set pieces are brilliant. The way he gets that whip around the ball, he almost overkicks the ball. But I don't see him do that within a match situation. His passing I don't ever see him have this amazing passing range. I don't see him getting brilliant deliveries in the box. So for me, I mean, as I say, that'll be an interesting one for them, certainly.
I think he's not great at knocking it on the run either, the way Beckham was. Beckham, you just knock it down, and he could just, Gary Neville playing in front, he'd just run and whip it in, and it was, like you say, it was like set pieces, wasn't it? But we'll see. But he's a decent footballer, but it's whether or not anyone actually wants to take that chance with him, I guess, isn't it? But Harry Winks, let's get on to Harry Winks, because obviously that's
old
thing.
Winksy.
Old Winksy. The Echo have run it, and it's quite a, the Echo do get the nod, whether people like it or not. So quite clearly something's going on. The links have been there for a while. The links with Winks. Would you take him on loan?
No.
With a view to it? No.
View to a kill. No, because I think it's a waste of a loan spot.
Okay.
So
you'd rather Everton bought him?
He screams Vinny Samways to me.
No,
he does. He screams a player who's nice and neat and tidy, but just doesn't. I don't think that we need him right now. And listen, I'm not the manager. I'm not the director of football. I'm not. From what I've seen, my limited knowledge on the whole thing is, I look at him, and yeah, people can go, he'd walk into our midfield. Does that mean he's what our midfield needs, though? My worry is, right, genuinely my worry is, with what we're trying to do is that Lampard looks at the situation and goes, I want to do to this team what I wanted to do in the first month of when I came in with this team. And I personally don't think our squad can cope with that. I think it has to be a slow turnover. And I think you can relate it actually back to Joe Royle. I think Mike Walker bought all these nice tippy-tappy technical players, and Vinnie Samways was one of them. And the team didn't have the ability to play the kind of football. So Joe Royle come in, got rid of Samways and in the Resies, brought hard-working players in, Dogs of War, but then the next season had Limpar in the team, but then added Kanchelskis, and then got that balance of having a team that could work its bollocks off and was a good footballing side. Moyes had it, and then Martinez messed it up. I think this season there needs to be this season has to be where you turn what we saw at the end of last season into something else at the end of the season. Now we could turn around and go, that's exactly what I am doing. But I need these players in now to turn it over. So we're going to have a hard-working midfield, and then we're going to add like one or two. But don't we already have Dele Alli for that? If you add, I don't, and then a Iwobi for that. Because Iwobi's not going to, no, but what I mean is, Iwobi isn't going to play right wing back when you've got Patterson available now. So you look at him going, well, he must play, so where's he going to play in that? He's going to play in that midfield, surely. And then you look at Dele Alli and go, well, hang on. Are we really going to pay £20 million for this player when he's played 20 games? Or, what are we doing with them? And then you add the Winks, because that sounds to me like he wants a midfield of Winks, Iwobi and Dele. Well, that's not, we couldn't cope with that. No. We just don't have the players to cope with the rest of the team to cope with that. So, and of course, yeah, you're building your squad out. But it just, to me, that seems like you're trying to run before you can walk. And I whether we liked it or not, there was the hard-working style at the end of the season is what's got us through. And yet, of course, you add one to that and you try and make it a little bit better. But Harry Winks, to me, and I'm not he's a good footballer, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's crap. I'm just looking and going, is that exactly what we need when money's limited? And see, Conor Gallagher, I think, has got that kind of energy to get in the box, got that little bit of dynamism. Winks to me just looks like a really tidy footballer who gets on the ball, who threads things together. Now, all right, Lampard might want that for all I know. Conor Gallagher seems to me like a more dynamic player, someone who's more in the vein of energy-wise that Richarlison is, and can maybe get to some of his goals as well. I don't see that in Winks. I personally don't.
No.
So I'm not having a go at us for targeting. I'm not having a go for them. I just don't see it. I don't see how the team would transition just having a player like that. So we'll wait and see. But it just seems to me like another offcast. It seems to me like a Tom Cleverley kind of signing. It seems to me like that kind of player where they're dead neat and tidy, but I'm not really on board with it personally.
You obviously want someone who's going to sit in that number 6 and take the ball and get it on the half turn and get us playing, and maybe Winks does do that.
Yeah, maybe he does.
And that's fine, but then you've got to have two either side. You've got to have players either side of them, and then you do the other stuff. Is our squad really built for that? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I personally, we spoke about him yesterday, didn't we? Tom mentioned him, but Mo Kamara at Red Bull Salzburg. Everything Everton need as a 6, and you could, if Everton bought him and had Harry Winks one side of him and the Corey the other, if they couldn't get Conor Gallagher, then you've got a nice mix. You've got someone who can do everything in front of the back, the back 4 or 5, whatever, or back 3, whatever it is. You've got Abdoulaye Doucouré, who can break into the box and get up and down, and you've got Harry Winks, who can get on the ball and dictate a little bit. But then, like you say, but where's Dele play then, and where does Iwobi play?
The other side of it, though, what I would say, the other side of it is, it might be like, do you know catchphrase?
I do know catchphrase.
Do you know at the end where they're doing like, where they get like,
oh, good guess,
when they press the button and like the square is revealed, and you haven't got a clue what it is. But then when they get all the squares, it's quite obvious what they want. That's what it might be. Harry Winks might be the first square that
is revealed.
Just looks like, actually, when you first see it, you're thinking, that very much looks like a penis, right? Well, it does sometimes, doesn't it? It does sometimes on catchphrase, Baz. You've got to admit that.
It might look like your penis.
Well, no. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If Mr. Chips.
Oh, Mr. Chips. He pops up regularly.
That's what I'm saying. So if when all the pieces are revealed, we might all go, there you go. I don't.
Might.
It might. I'm not saying it will.
Harry Winks might come in and be really good for Everton, and you go, it was a really good signing. He might do, mightn't he?
Right.
If Alan goes, if Alan does go, and Everton recoup money back for him, and then Harry Winks is more mobile than Alan, and is probably better on the ball than Alan. Alan probably does work that Harry Winks doesn't do. If you're doing it like that, then you kind of go, okay, all right. Do you know what I mean? If you're when you're building a squad, or if I was given the keys to build the squad, and I see players now, I like the look of him. You then have got to look at who else is in the squad and go, right, well, I want him to do that role, so I need to really move that fella on and all that. And that maybe that way you kind of come to the end of the window and you go, oh, okay, we are better because he's younger and more mobile, and we've got him out the door in his way. If you get to the end of the window and they're all similar players who aren't really that mobile, and we're still left with Abdoulaye Doucouré on his own in there, then you look and go, we've had another window where we haven't got what we needed. And that I guess that is the fear, but we just have to see what happens. And don't forget, this might literally be Everton saying, is he available on loan? Talking to Spurs, we don't know, do we? No. We've seen the Echo saying this today. Harry Winks' agent might be going, listen, do you want to take him? He's, we know Frank likes, and Everton might be going, well, let us, what's available and what's the drill with it, how much, whatever. Bum, 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 bum.
I can hear right now the training videos with them. Winksy, enjoy the ball. I can hear that in my head.
There you go. That's just Clement. Or was that Frankie? Frankie just with his bottle, his bottle of Courvoisier just stood there like that, going,
it's Harry.
Thought he'd give me more money. Harry, what Redders is coming in? Redders is coming in as a consultant. Emmy 1G. No, I haven't tried medjool dates instead of chocolate bars. I don't like dates.
What the hell's a medjool date?
I don't know. I don't like dates, I'll be honest.
Well, they don't.
I like almonds and stuff.
Well, they don't taste the chocolate for a start, do they?
No.
That's always going to be the biggest letdown, isn't it?
A spoonful of honey can replace sweets at times, and that's really good for you.
Have you tried a spoon of glass? I mean, it doesn't taste the chocolates either, but it'll stop you eating.
It will stop me eating, to be fair. It will stop me eating. Tazul says Winks is too lightweight for me. We need to be moving away from these kind of players.
Sorry, Ned laughed about 5 minutes later.
That's it. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? This is the thing. Connor says Kamara at Salzburg is an excellent shout. I think he's above our level, but he's such an exciting player. Yes, but he's playing in Austria, so go and get him now. If no one else is in, and a Premier League team coming for you and give you money,
which is practically Germany, if you know your history.
Well, people. If you look at Minamino was in Austria, Haaland. Okay, Minamino. Probably not the greatest example, but he's played in the Premier League for a bit. Haaland was in Austria and he went there. There's numerous players who've come from Austria. Patson Daka was at Salzburg, gone to Leicester, done all right. I think he got 13
It is weird the way we do look at some countries and just go dismiss the players straight away. Like loads of people did that for years with like France, and it was like France is the best place to get them from, because the physicality of that league is exactly what you want for the Premier League. It's a well-trodden path, but for ages, like terrible league. It's like, yeah, but the players are actually quite good. And yet people are always like, oh, Italy, and God, there aren't too many success stories of like average Italian players coming to the Premier League, is there? I mean, don't get me wrong, the actual creme de la creme are good, but there's been a hell of a lot of average players that have come from Italy who just haven't done anything in the Premier League.
Jack says Alan's defensive IQ is incredible, and his attackers, he's just been playing deeper. If you look at some of the analysts, they don't think he's incredible. I like Alan. I think he's been a good signing for Everton. He hasn't been amazing, but I think he's been a good signing. But people look at the numbers and go, well, he's not doing enough there, and he's not doing enough there. And I don't think Alan doesn't like to play in that six either. He'd rather be going chasing around, wouldn't he? So we'll see. Anthony says, all right, fellas, Frank knows what players will fit in the team and who needs to go onwards and upwards. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing, Anthony. We're just looking individually. It hasn't ignited me, Harry Winks, I'll be honest. But like I said yesterday, if Frank Lampard decides he wants him and he's got a thing for him, I'm on board. And we look and go, well, what's he going to do when he comes in? You know, and if he goes, yeah, we're going to do this, and this is how we're doing it, and whatever, then great, you know, that's great. But we'll just see. Jamie says, what about Haidara? Would you have him, Baz? He's done well as well, hasn't he, in the past? He's another one. There's lots, and this is what I think me and Ped spoke about this yesterday, and this is one of the biggest bugbears with me about Everton, is that we don't ever seem to go and get these people. And it's not even like, I'm not saying go and get 5 of them and gamble, but we don't even go and get one. We don't even go and get him and go, he's doing really well there. Or you see, it's like Hwang.
I think
we wanted Hwang. We had Hwang on deadline day when we got Josh King. He'd agreed everything. And then Red Bull Leipzig couldn't get the player.
A Hwang replacement.
Yeah. And therefore, they pulled the plug on deadline day. And we ended up with Josh King. But then Everton really liked him, and the recruitment team really liked him. And it got to the summer, and he just never went back for him, and he ended up going to Wolves. Now, okay, he wasn't amazing for Wolves, but he'd done a good job. Scored big goals. I mean, he pissed off Evertonians at Goodison for going down the most times in the first half I've ever seen. But he'd have been great for us because he's a pressing monster. He's really good at what he does. Can take his chance as well. Yeah. And it was almost like, well, we nearly had him then, but that's it now. And he went on loan with a view for this season. I think it's like 11 million quid.
Bizarre, isn't it?
I don't understand it.
I mean, a lot of these players are, like, to me, I am, like, you know, in the dark on a lot of these players. But unfortunately, having somebody who's well, obviously it's his job to know these players, and obviously you know them as well. But to hear the frustration. I mean, listen, I'm happy to say that everything Andy has said to us in the last few years, or certainly to me, has basically come true. And you know, I can hold my hand up to that, no problem. Football has completely changed in the last 3 or 4 years, and Andy, his job is Andy the Pivot's job is that, and he does that for a living now, which is amazing. That's why he's never on the show.
He's right he's on the upward.
You know, his company, you know, buy and sell players for clubs, and when the frustration of what he talks about of the players who you could get, who's available, and who would work for Everton is just, you know, it's just, I think for a lot of us, we don't, because we're sitting there in the you know, the bubble of Twitter, whatever, and we just feed off the links that are given to us through, you know, the agents and stuff. But some of these players who are available, who we, you know, the average person may not be aware of, it's scandalous. It's actually when you dig deeper into it, it's just it's absolutely scandalous. The players that are out there, and just because they haven't got a big shiny name, or agents aren't pushing them everywhere, or this, that and the other, they're paying double for players who are not as good. Yeah. Because they play for clubs already, or they're already in the Premier League or whatever. And to be honest, Everton, from my limited knowledge, should never buy players from the Premier League. Literally, they shouldn't be buying it. Everton should never ever buy a player from the Premier League. We should be buying these up and coming players from South America, from Portugal, from Austria, from Germany. We shouldn't be going anywhere near a player that's already playing in the Premier League. It's as simple as that. Unless, you know, okay, someone like Tarkowski is slightly different because he's available on a free and stuff. But we should be going after these up and coming 21, 22-year-olds. And the numbers are there to back it up. And hopefully that all starts changing now. And obviously we haven't got the evidence, but and maybe this summer's come too early. I don't know, but I'll get on with it.
And they're not on huge wages in other countries, so when you're giving them decent wages, it's a big thing for them, and you can control your wage bill. When you're buying players in the Premier League, like Harry Winks is going to be on good money at Spurs. He might be on top money, but he's going to be on good money. Anyone else we're going for will already be on money that in Europe, those players are nowhere near that amount of money, so you can get these players. And you get them for a couple of years. And
look at Rafinha. Rafinha's a perfect case of it. They buy him from France for, you know, what is it, 12 to 18 million, whatever it is, with all the add-ons. And now they look for 75 million for him within 2 years. Because those kind of teams, the bigger clubs, aren't really prepared to go in those markets. So why do we think we are one of... why do we have this arrogance that we're one of those clubs? Why do we keep thinking that we can play in their market? That we just can't. We just can't play in their market.
You have to have a dose of realism and go, right, okay. But
it's not even realism though, it's best practice.
Really interesting, the Rafinha stuff. 75 million, got the same amount of time left on his contract as Richarlison. Richarlison's outscored him, obviously. Numbers are very, very
I was speaking
similar.
to Andy about him this morning, with some about him, and he, in terms of work rate, Rafinha it does work very, very hard. I'm saying, and obviously Richarlison works very, very hard. Richarlison said he was a better goal scorer, a better finisher, but Rafinha's a better passer, and yeah, you're right, he wants 75 million, and then yet people are like, Richarlison, it's like, well, why is this fella worth?
Play for Leeds.
This fella scored maybe 2 or 3 goals in the second half of the season. Richarlison kept us up. It's mad.
Weird. That's the bar I'd be looking at if I was Everton. I'd be going, well, that's if he goes for 75, he goes for 75, or you pay 50 plus 2 of your players if it's Chelsea, because that's the way it is. Chris says Winks is a big fat no from me. I've never been impressed with him. Most Tottenham fans I've seen on fan channels don't rate him either. Tom says, can't Everton just sign a player that we all know is good and have no worries about for once? It's always ones where we know the crap, but we have to try to convince ourselves of how they might be decent when we know the reality, if that makes sense. No, I know what you mean, Tom.
There has been a lot of them.
There is a lot of them, because you've got to, because why would you be negative about someone who's coming to play in your team?
I do.
Doesn't help.
But the thing is, though, it doesn't help, but that's basically what I'm going to start doing.
But that's fine.
No, what I mean is that
that's fine.
For too long, I think we are far too accepting. And I know people go, well, this is what they want. Yeah, but the proof's in the pudding. And in the last few years, just because the manager or the director of football wants them doesn't mean that they're going to work. And I think yeah, there's got to be more room for just being honest, isn't there? I know what you mean. I know you can. What I mean is, like, there's no reason not to be positive. Like, absolutely, you want the best for everyone who comes to your club. But I think there is got to be that little bit of like realism about the situation. If your gut feel, my gut feeling was Harry Winks is no. I've seen this before. Yeah, I've seen this before. Listen, if he comes in, I'll give him all the backing in the world. All the backing in the world.
I've said to you loads of times, give me Mo Kamara or Harry Winks. It's not even a conversation. It's not a conversation. Conor Gallagher or Harry Winks. It's not a conversation. It's over. Do you know what I mean? All I'm saying is, the manager, you'd like to think they've got a plan that, and if Everton do genuinely move for him, then he's part of that plan. We'll see. We'll see. Georgie says, at the moment, I don't know why, but I just can't see anyone paying what we want for Richarlison.
No, because they don't have to pay what we want for Richarlison. Because that's the difference in us and Leeds. They're not up the wall with FFP. We are. We've got the wolves at the door. Yeah. And that's the difference ultimately. We can't sit there all season somewhere and go, give us what we want. Because we can't.
Georgie said, what's your opinion on Papa Cisse? Surely Mina and Keane need to go if that's happening. Yeah, he's centre back, isn't he? Everton were linked with him yesterday. At the moment, we've got Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, Ben Godfrey, Mason Holgate, Jared Branthwaite, Reece Welsh and James Tarkowski. So Everton have got 7 centre-backs at the moment for a team that's not in Europe.
Play 2 in centre field.
Well, yeah. So, quite clearly, okay, you could say, well, Branthwaite will go out on loan, so that's 6. Would Welsh go out on loan? Maybe. So that's 5. You still got to lose. If you're bringing another one in on top of them, you've got to lose another.
Is that a worrying factor, though? That none of our players are being linked with moves apart from Richarlison?
Yeah, of course it is. But who would want our players? You might want Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but you might look and go, well, Everton want 75 million for him. And
yeah, but there's always a market. Yeah, but there's always a market, isn't there? There's always a market. We want Harry Winks.
But players might.
There might be Spurs fans going, why would anyone want Harry Winks?
Yeah, but that might be quite simply Spurs going, We want Richarlison. Harry Winks is available. That might be them talking.
Yeah, but like, it's easy to go, well, who'd want them, but football clubs.
Oh no,
there's teams who are in different leagues, or teams that are below us, or whatever, that will go who would like. Though Michael Keane is not a bad player. You know, Yerry Mina's a good player, but he's got a bad injury. But there doesn't seem to be any interest in any of our players. And again, that's a little bit worrying.
Wages will be the thing as
well.
well.
I appreciate that, but
what's he on? Oh, how much? Not
but all footballers get paid.
No, I know, but if it's Yerry Mina, say Yerry Mina, and I've seen, I don't know how accurate this is, but he's on over 100 grand a week. Apparently, like I said, I don't know how accurate that is, but that's the rumours. So if you're looking at Yerry Mina and you're going, like, played 13 games last season in the Premier League and started 11 of them, what are his wages? £100,000 a week. And he only played that many games. And what do Everton want for him? 12.
How much do you think Harry Winks is on?
He won't be on that much because Spurs do have a very tight budget. So, I don't know, probably more than 50 grand a week, I would say. He's been in Spurs first team for a few years.
I'd probably see he was on about 80.
Well,
depending on when he signed his last contract.
But for ages, though, they wouldn't pay over. Like, Harry Kane was the biggest ever paying. That was like 120 grand
he's
a
on
week.
250 now.
He is now because they had to give him more, didn't he? But, say he's on 80 grand a week. Yeah. Right. See, that's another reason. That's why I'm saying I can tell you now, Mo Camara.
Are you his agent?
No, I'm saying. Tom brought him up. It's just that he is good. But what I'm saying is he won't be on 40 grand a week.
Yeah.
You know, he mightn't even be on 30
grand a week.
Why
aren't we looking in that direction then?
This
but this is the point though, isn't it? It's all right going. See, it's all right going. I want to give this fella a chance, and I want to give this fella a chance at our club. Why are we still not looking in those directions then? This is what annoys me. This is where I can't fully buy into this thing of like, it's a new brush and everything's great. It's not, because we're still not looking in the right places. We're still making the same mistakes we were making 5 years ago. Is there like fucking fella in there who is there a board up that has been up there for 6 years or something going, these are our targets? Why are we still determined to bring in the same players we've been bringing in for 6 years? This is what I don't understand. And don't get me wrong, I want Kevin Felber to be the greatest man in the world, and I want Frank to be amazing. But why are we linked with the same kind of player every year, every season? Players who haven't made it in the teams above us every single. Oh, he's lost his way. Has he lost his way? Send him to Everton then. Yeah. We've already got one. We brought Dele in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is what I don't understand. I don't understand why we've got this thing at Everton where we accept everybody else's play. You know, yesterday people are going, would you look at Jesse Lingard? No, I fucking wouldn't look at Jesse Lingard because he's 30. He's a knobhead. And he's in Times Square doing TikTok dances. Get me a 22-year-old who's on about 40 grand on a 5-year contract. That'll be worth 50 million in 2 years' time. This is what I don't.
And they're everywhere.
This is what I don't understand about our football club.
And I'd love to be able to sit down with Kevin Thelwell and just go, can I just ask you this? And whether it's on the record or off the record, just go, you've been in football and Wolves have done this. So Wolves were doing it when you were there. All right, Mendes and all that, and some of them were Portuguese and some were hits and some weren't. But
Harry Winks played 19 times last season. He had no goals and 1 assist.
No.
How does that scream to anyone what we need?
So when you're there, I'd say, so why don't we look in? And he might turn around and go, well, we look at this, that and the other, and it don't, whatever, I don't know. But it's so frustrating because it's the same conversation every summer.
It is.
And we end up just going, who's available? Yeah, we'll have a look at him. We'll have a look at him. And you're right, it hasn't changed. Moyes did. And again, we keep having to harp back to David Moyes. Left the club 9 years ago. We're still harping back on.
He signed his last contract 3 years ago, so Winks will be on decent money.
He'll be on decent money.
And his contract, he's got 2 years left, so his contract, he'll be on decent money. And I'm not having a go at Harry Winks, by the way. I've just made me feelings known about him. I just can't understand how we are still doing the same things.
People are calling it lazy in the comments, lazy recruitment.
It is lazy.
And why is it still lazy though? I'm not defending it. I'm just saying, why is it still?
Is there a board? Is there a big whiteboard that brands left behind or something? And this summer they're just going to have to use it. And then do you know what I mean? No, like Kevin Felber's been in the job since March? It's very little time. I appreciate that. And he's still bringing people in. And I'm not having a go at him. Don't take this as me having a go at anyone. I made my feelings known yesterday about what my issues are with Everton Football Club. I just don't understand why we are still being linked with the same people every single year, and that's always going to be my issue with everybody else is moving on. Everybody else is it's got their torch out and is looking in all the places where we're Captain Obvious.
No, we are.
We just switch the light on, and whoever player is who just happens to be there, we look at. Oh, Harry Winks, he played for England a couple of times. I don't get that in this day and age.
Yeah.
I just don't get that.
No, listen, I'm not denying it. Nick Redmond on the super chat. Nice one. Nick says, who would you guys take a punt on if you wanted a pacey centre mid from outside the Prem? What do you think of Nicolas de la Cruz, for example? He's still playing in Argentina. He's 25. He's got, don't get me wrong, he has got ability. He's good on the ball. But 25 and still in South America.
Yeah, that's a red flag,
too
isn't it?
big of a red flag.
He'd even be in MLS by now.
You've got to get the ones earlier for those, in my opinion. I don't know. Check the Corey. Palace are linked with over at I think he's at Lowndes, isn't he? We've mentioned Mo Camara. Tom brought him up yesterday. Excellent pick from Tom yesterday. He's another one. Really good. Be really, really good for Everton. Knows his role well. Spoke to Andy about him yesterday. Said ideal for Everton. These kind of players. There's Duarte, I think is how you say his name, who was at Saint Etienne. They've just been relegated. He's 18. Again, another one. Mobile. You could go and get him. And why aren't Everton looking? Someone just said, why aren't we going to France to get these players? Mobile number 6s. The answer is I have no idea. So Nick, any of those really to just improve the midfield, because it is, like Pez just said, it is a little bit like you're just going, oh yeah, there's him. He was mentioned with England, or he was mentioned with them, and again, that's not me. I've already said Harry Winks comes in, I'll back him to the hilt and go, give him a chance, let's see what he can do. But until Everton do start to, you've just got to look at it like this, for me. Are we ever going to make money on Harry Winks? We're not, are we? Because he's 25. He's 20. So he comes in now.
He'll be here till he's 30.
He'll be on a contract till he's 30. And in 2 or 3 years, we might all be going, who's going to take Harry Winks? If you go and get a 21-year-old with the plan that in 2 to 3 years you're selling him on for money while you develop him, that is how you start to turn your club from being someone who keeps going to far end for someone who, when June and July comes, we sit there going, oh, well, we can't do anything yet because we need to sell, into a club where we're going, right, we are now getting younger players that we're flipping. And if you start flipping players better, it means that if you buy 3 in the summer and keep them for 2 or 3 years, you'd only have to sell one of them to reinvest and all of a sudden you start going like that. Yeah, Steve's just mentioned Crystal Palace there. They signed Olis for 8 million, who we wouldn't go for, and he's saying he's probably worth 40 now, but he's probably not. But he's probably worth like 20 at least.
Palace hoover up all the local talent in London. The QPR, Reading, these.
Yeah. Yeah. Anfield Red says copy the Red Bull system and you'll be alright. Well, exactly, mate. That's exactly what we should be doing. But we don't understand why we're still doing the same thing. Gaz says, unless we get a big offer for Mina, is it worth keeping him for one more season to bed Tarkovsky in? Stats speak for themselves. We lost 19 out of the 30 games he did not play in. That's 63%. Compared to just 4 in the 14 matches that he did feature. Colombia didn't make the World Cup, so might get more games from him with a 6-week break. I mean, that's a hell of a thing. Losing 63% of the games he doesn't play is a huge... I mean, you know what, guys? If nobody comes in for him, then you do use him, don't you? Because Yerry Mina might make you finish 4 places up the Premier League, say. And that's more than 10 million quid, which you might get in for him. So, but then for me, you'd have to move the others on. And he also says links today in the papers are Musa Niakate from Mainz. Well, Forrest won him. He's only 8 million. He's someone I've banged on about for 3 seasons as well. He's only 26 now, 6'3", playing in Germany. He's not amazing, but he's good. He's strong. Plays games. Jordan Vertu, the French midfielder from Roma. Vertu, I'm not overly enamoured with. But near Carty would be decent for 8 million quid. But again, centre-backs, isn't it? Alan Slinger says, I'd take Winks on a loan deal. If we sign him permanently, it can't be for anything more than 10 million quid. Gary Ward says, howdy. Everton Viking says, is Harry Winks not the exact signing we're trying to get away from? A very average player, but on wages. He'll be 27 soon. Oh, is he old? I thought he was 25.
27 in this year.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Exactly.
It's one thing to say a manager wants a player, but it's the club's job and director of football to say no. The reason we're in this now is because of these types of signings happening too many times. I am behind Lampard and the team fully, but I can't get behind this.
Ned just said he's the English Andre Gomez.
There you go. Young and hungry, athletic, dynamic. Winks is none of those, and we'll be spending vital money on a player who marginally improves us. Yeah, I can't. You know, I'm not going to go against you there. I will give him all the backing he needs if he becomes an Evertonian, but it's not someone who's on my list of top 5 midfielders who I would want this summer. And Georgie said something what you said before. I know Winks walks into our midfield, but it doesn't mean he's the right fit. Evan Viking also says, I'm not one to panic in general, and I'm usually very positive Everton fan, but I'm genuinely terrified of another tough slog. All of the teams who are around us are strengthening. Strengthening the squads, I think he means, as we dally around making the same mistakes and acting slow in the market. We can't be so confident the relegation battle won't happen again if the teams continue to strengthen. DC Toffees says, not a fan, we already have the original Tom Davies. Ralph says, hi lads, been out for a while, but do you not think his staff can get something out of Tom Davies as a number 6? I remember him in that position and doing a job.
There's much difference between him and Harry Winks, really. I mean that genuinely.
Massively.
Honestly, is there a massive gap between those two players?
I've not seen it. Spurs essentially getting Basuma for free if we get Winks. Great business by Spurs. They'll be right up there next season. I'll back Winks all the way if we get him, but I'm not sure who everyone is expecting us to sign. We aren't exactly an attractive outfit right now. I know, but the one thing I'd say there, mate, is Dawson Myers is not Alan Myers. Well, I mean, he might be. It's how long he's then tied in for, isn't it? It isn't like I said. If it was a loan for a year, then maybe that changes things a bit. Maybe you go, okay, look at him on loan. You get him, and you're stuck with him. He's 27 already. Richie Dean says, hi lads, sorry I hate being negative, as I believe the new changes are a step in the right direction, but Winks is just more of the same. It's a step backwards. What does Winks have that Tom Davies doesn't have?
And you know what, right, as I said before, right, you could swap Harry Winks' name for someone else's name. To me, that's not the issue. To me, it's the culture. To me, it's lazy. It is lazy. And this might be a smokescreen for someone for all we know. Or I don't know. But I look at those players and think there's a lack of imagination. There's a real lack of imagination. Other clubs seem to be able to find these players and we don't. We just
they're there, mate.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying.
They're out there.
Why? And they're the norm now. We're going against the grain. We're doing it all wrong. All wrong. As far as I'm concerned.
It's so frustrating because you can see by just being a little bit smarter, they could change the whole team. And this squad, this Premier League, isn't difficult. That's what annoys me more than anything. If it was like, you can't get near anyone in the top 8 because you'd have to spend 3. That's nonsense. West Ham have proved that. It's nonsense. Owen Brown says, for me, is Harry Winks any different from Donny van der Beek? And I know he had a couple of injuries while on loan with us, but ultimately it didn't work out, so I'm not sure why we'd go for that type of midfielder again. Both are neat and tidy footballers, but not what we need in my opinion. I could see why Zinchenko could be an option if he intends to play 3-4-3, but when Miko goes forward, but not Winks at all.
If you had the option between Zinchenko and Winks,
Zinchenko.
Yeah.
Just because he can play midfield, but he can play left back. He's played at a top club. He's made a difference in a lot of games I've seen. It looks like he's got a good attitude, and that's not saying Winks hasn't got a good attitude. I just mean, for me, he offers more than Harry Winks. Yeah. Right, very quick. Tim says, "Hi lads, top work as always. Keep up the good work. I was talking with an old-timer Spurs pal of mine last night. We were talking about Winks and Moura. The first thing he said about both of them is they have complete heart and fight and will die for the club they play for.
You've got to die for the 3 points.
He said that we wouldn't regret buying either of them. He said Goodison and Bramley Moore would love Moura. He's so direct, and once he gets the ball, he wants to run at the opposition. Plus, he has an eye for goal. With
He's
Winks,
just a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
So why isn't
I don't say.
why has he not worked at Spurs?
Because he's probably looking and going, well, Moura's done well for Spurs.
He's in and out the team like I'm not. Moura when he's at PSG, I thought was a very experienced.
I think he's been good for Spurs.
Very good. Well, yeah, but he doesn't play, and they're trying to sell him.
Because he's 29.
They're trying to replace him with one of our players. What?
Yeah. No, I know. I'm not saying. I'm not thinking. I'm just saying.
No, I know, but they are. They're trying to replace him with one of our.
He's 30 in thingy. He's 30 in August as well.
Yeah.
He's got 19 goals in 137 games for Spurs. Yeah, says as far as Winks, he said he's been at Spurs forever and needs a change of scenery. Technically gifted, run and work for the team, and felt a club like ours would shoot Winks down to the ground. Yeah, this fella knows his players. Fair play. Richie says, "Hey, Ped, not sure how long you guys are over here for, but all those pounds you're losing will definitely find their way back."
That's the plan, mate. That's the plan.
Fair
you know
play.
what I mean? I want to come back obese, not morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Come on.
Derek says,
anyway, I'm going to run round the reflective pool when we're there. I'm going to run with Ned and to go to him on your left as a lapping for the 12th time.
There you go.
True.
In the 90 degrees heat.
Yeah.
Morning lads, I see Tom Davies' name in the comments a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing what Frank does with Tom. Tom was class under Carlo, so hopefully he can do something similar. Baz, where have you been in Florida and what are your favourites? My wife is from Florida, so I'm down there quite often. Well, Orlando, I've been to obviously over to like Daytona once. I've been the other side to St. Petersburg, Clearwater, all of them places. I've been to Gainesville, which is boss. I've been to St. Augustine, is it?
Augustine.
On the wing.
St. Petersburg.
No, I've been to St. Petersburg. St. Augustine, I think it's called. Lovely little fishing place, gorgeous. So I've been them kind of places, mate. Boss, but it's Orlando. I love Orlando. It's amazing. Tyler says, glass half full view. Winks' passing stats are genuinely quite impressive. Signing him would be a much more inspiring proposition if we had our sights set on a true number 6. His progressive passing and attempted passing stats are very good, and his progressive carries are nothing to turn our noses up either. Okay. Dean says, will say this for Winks though, he's a natural number 6 and is really injured. He has high 80s in his passing average. Okay. Brian says, a player who's impressive on the half term with skill who gets us up the field. Rapid is that Nunes we are linked with. Okay, you can be deceiving, but he looks the part. Well, we could have had him for 15 million last summer break, couldn't we? Now they want 50 for him. DC Toffee says, when I get the notification for the episode from Peyton and click onto it, it drops me into YouTube and I'm waiting for the start of the show. I head back to Peyton and try again. Not sure how to resolve that. Okay, I'll have a look in a minute. See if we understand it. I guess let's get through these. Tobias says Harry Winks is a very Joe Allen type of player. Also, have you seen you guys seen Adam Sandler movie Hustle? I haven't watched it yet. Is it good?
It's boss.
I will watch it.
Really
good. Winks is on even 50k a week, says Eric Pirry. Mike Barrett says not going back for a player is taken from the wily Coyote School of Management, where if something doesn't work out first time you throw it out the window. Brian Murray says, as you said yesterday, Ped, despite this new doffs, it's hard to trust a club. In fact, it's a club within a club. One half trying to have a plan and strategy and the other half stuck in the past commercially. Tom says, Luka Ivanisic at Dynamo Zagreb be putting a report out on him on Twitter soon after Mo Kamret. 23 years old and already a Croatian international. Progressive creative midfielder who was half the value of Zinchenko, £15 million price tag, and will go on to play for Champions League clubs. Take the risks. Some will pay off and some won't, but to stagnate in the Premier League, you only go one way. Well said, Tom. Richie Hetherington says, both spot on. They're about players previously highlighted by the PIV. I get worried about players like Winks, not just because of his ability, but because of the lack of imagination. The club scouting department has to find another fella for 20 million from overseas. And in true Everton fashion, the ones we seem to buy turn out to be Gbamin or Tosin. See, Tosin was a mistake from the very start, and the club were told that by some people who know about strikers. Gbamin, I understand why we bought Gbamin. He was very good at Mainz. He hardly missed a game. He was good in France as well. Could play number 6, could play centre back. Terrible injuries have curtailed that totally. So for me, Gbamin was made sense. Tosin. Brian says, no, you're hesitating to blame Thelwell, but if Winks is his sum total of our scout no vision, we're in big trouble. Owen says, for me, Harry Winks is. I've said that, haven't I? Donny van der Beek. Yeah, I know. It's what can you do? What can you do? Let's stress that this isn't, we're just going off a headline, aren't we, today? Yeah. That's a link. And it, like Ped said before, could end up being a smokescreen. We've been linked. We've been in talks with Otavio from Portugal for 68 million and this for 71 million. And so, you've got to look at it and just go, all right, well, let's just see. Jack Ross says, this is Everton's biggest summer in years and we're linked with Winks. And Graham says, is our scouting system awful? Because all the other teams pick up good players for cheap and we don't. Possibly, mate. Possibly it is. But we'll see. God's Eye says, hit the like button. Thank you very much. It does help the channel. So thank you very much. If you can take the time to quickly click the link. Also, you can also click the, just click the like button very quickly. It's boss. Honest. It really helps. Thank you very much. John Jones says, yes, the guy who bought Tosin did also buy Vardy, Kante and Mahrez. Yeah, he did. And John Jones also says, we need 2 6'6" beasts, not Winks. And Lewis says, why can't we just be like Brentford? Sign players and not bad players. Who knows? Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for liking. Thank you all for subbing. It's massively appreciated. We will, of course, it is Wednesday, so we will be back live at 5 on YouTube tonight. So clickety-click the link.
Club call. You patrons, I want some calls this week.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's the point?
If you're not happy about Harry Winks, get on the blower and tell us. Why you're not happy about him and who Everton should be going for. Subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate it. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you at 5. Take it easy. Bye.